G'day guys, just Rob again, doing another video for you, doing my end of the month DVD Blu-ray update. Just got a few Blu-rays to show you today. I think these are all movies that I sort of technically bought them last month, just offline, and just over the month they've sort of been coming through the post. Yeah, so we'll get into it. I've got a bit of a mixture here, I think. First one I got here is the Amazing Spiderman, which is the reboot, sort of last year. We sort of had the three sort of Tobey Maguire movies, and then this is sort of a bit of a, I think they're about 10 years ago or something like that. This is sort of the reboot with Andrew Garfield as playing Spider-Man, and then we got Gwen Stacy, played by Emma Stone. I've heard sort of mixed things about this, but I sort of managed to get this sort of fairly cheap because I wanted to give it a bit of watch and see what it was like. So I did actually quite enjoy this one. I thought it was a very sort of entertaining movie. I mean, I sort of watched the first the opening to it and first sort of half an hour of it, and didn't think it was all that great. I think mainly because it's obviously it's sort of a story that was sort of seen before in the three previous movies, so in some ways it's very much a sort of a rehash, sort of a retelling of it. But I guess that's to be expected, though, isn't it? Really, I mean, I don't know what the original story of Spider-Man is, but I mean, it's I suppose you can't really tell a story of Spider-Man without actually sort of retelling the the original storyline to it, even though it was sort of set before. But then after that, it's actually overall it's actually a fairly entertaining movie. I really actually enjoy it, and I thought Andrew Garfield was pretty good, and Emma Stone was good in the role, and I thought the villain guy he was pretty good. Definitely worth a check out, I think. If you haven't sort of seen it. I think the only thing that I really didn't like about it perhaps was I think other people sort of said it before, where there was sort of when Peter Parker goes to sort of high school, he's sort of jumping around and sort of hanging from the ceiling type thing, and obviously what the students are there sort of watching him, which obviously would have caused a bit more interest, I think, than sort of was portrayed in the movie. But anyway, I thought that was perhaps a little bit sort of silly, I think. But I think overall it was a good flick, I thought. Next one is actually sort of a 4-movie sort of box set thing. Movies that people either really really like or really hate, I think. We've got the first 4 Resident Evil movies, which I do actually don't sort of mind those movies. I mean, they're not anything fantastic, and more sort of sort of action and CGI than actual proper storyline, I think. But I don't mind them though. Obviously, I don't mind a good sort of zombie movie. But definitely, I think the first movie is obviously the best one, I think. Second movie is okay, but it's not all that great. The third one, Extinction, which is sort of set in the desert, I thought that was actually a very interesting sort of setting, and sort of made it a bit more of an interesting movie. The fourth movie, Afterlife, which I think I've talked about before. The reason I don't mind that movie. As I said before, it's definitely sort of a filler movie, and nothing all that much sort of happens to it, and but I still did still enjoy it though. The fifth movie, which isn't actually sort of in this one that sort of came out I think last year, was a real disappointment for me. I really didn't like that movie. I thought it was just more filler. It was more filler than the fourth movie. I sort of thought maybe that might have been the final one, perhaps the fifth one, but it was just more filler, and just I don't know. The movies here just don't seem to sort of get going anywhere. They sort of just seem to be sort of going on, and with no real sort of continuation of the storyline. It just seems to be just making movies for the sake of it. I mean, this is only $20 for these sort of 4 movies, so I really couldn't sort of pass that up. Next couple here are actually sort of horror sort of related. I picked up the movie that I sort of watched a few months ago when I was doing the Fright Fest video I made. We sort of watch, spend 12 hours sort of watching horror movies. So I've got this is like the remake of it, which I actually didn't mind. I got Day of the Dead, which is not necessarily a fantastic movie, you know, but I just thought it was sort of, for what it was, sort of an entertaining sort of zombie flick. I think it's got Mila Savaris in it. He's from American Beauty and American Pie movies. I've always sort of been a bit of a fan of hers. I think the end of this movie is a bit silly, I think, but it wasn't, yeah, too bad of a flick. I thought I might pick it up. I think it was only like $9 or something. But that wasn't too bad. And of course, you know, I knew people were gonna say, why didn't you get the original? Well, I did sort of end up picking that as well. Gave it a bit of a watch. Now I'm going to be really honest with them, just get this sort of out of the way. I really didn't like this one all that much, I'm sorry to say. But I might give it perhaps another watch. I think I did watch I remember also watching the Dawn of the Dead, the original one of that, and didn't like it all that much the first time. But after a few viewings, I think I started to like it a bit more. So I won't sort of go into too much detail about this. That's, you know, why I didn't like it necessarily. I might give it another watch and before I give my sort of final thoughts on it. I really did like the premise. I thought the premise was really good. But anyway, I won't go too much into that. I'll give it another watch at some point. The next one's actually a film I've never sort of seen before, but I've always wanted to see it. It's supposed to be a bit of a sort of a horror classic, and I think Robin from the Creative Popcorn channel, she was talking about this and gave it a bit of a review. Got David Cronenberg's Scanners, which is supposed to be a really sort of classic sort of horror movie, perhaps from the 80s, which I've always sort of want to check out because I've sort of heard it's, you know, a good movie, and it's sort of about all I know about it is sort of you can get these, you know, people using telekinesis, however you say it, can sort of, you know, blow people's heads up, which I thought was a fairly interesting idea. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a watch when I get a chance. I really want to sort of watch this before I made the video, but I've just haven't sort of had enough time to sort of do that. But yeah, definitely want to give that a check at some point. We've only got 3 more to go. Next one's actually, I think I was bidding on something on eBay, and I think I lost the auction, but I think the guy that was selling that sort of was sort of selling this one as well, so I thought I might just grab it. You know, it was pretty cheap, so I just grabbed it. Got Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is supposed to be based on obviously the book by her. I'm not too sure if she actually. I always thought she actually wrote the book originally, but I think I could be wrong. But I think someone else wrote it originally, way back in the 1800s. I think, I'm not sure. I could be totally wrong on that. But anyway, I thought this actually wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't perfect by any means. But for what it was, I actually did quite enjoy it. It's got some lots of big stars. It's got, you know, Robert De Niro, Helen Bonham Carter, Kenneth Branagh. It's got John Cleese in it. It's got Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor? Is that right? Or no, that's not right. Richard Pryor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Richard Pryor. He's out of the TV show, the 70s TV show, The Good Life, and a lot of other good shows he's been in recently. I think he actually died, I think, last week too, actually. Also got Ian Holmes in it, Bilbo Baggins. That was what he was in sort of recently, and he was also in Aliens as well, or Alien, I should say. But yeah, this wasn't too bad. I think it's very much. I mean, obviously, we all know the storyline, I suppose, just to Frankenstein. This had sort of the opening was sort of, first half an hour was like a sort of a backstory, I guess, of the Frankenstein character, which I actually did quite enjoy. I think the producer, Francis Ford Coppola, I think he wanted to take out that sort of the opening sort of half an hour of it, but I actually didn't mind it. I think sort of towards the end, when once the monster sort of escapes, I think after that it does get a little bit silly. I think there's a few sort of silly things that they do. Apparently this is supposed to be sort of the closest we're going to get to the book, I suppose. It's sort of the closest adaptation. But even sort of saying that, I think there's actually a few sort of liberties taken here and there, and a few different things don't happen in the book. Well, I mean, if you want to read in the original, in the book, it doesn't even sort of say how the actual monster was created. I think it's sort of a lot of it, because there's sort of different versions of this. People have sort of, you know, done the different sort of retellings of it and sort of added things and, you know, taken away things to it. But this is sort of like, obviously it's based on the original book, but it's also, I think it's got a few ideas from some of the other movies that have sort of been made before, and it's sort of got a few, you know, ideas from there. But yeah, I definitely it wasn't too bad. I think '94 it came out, I think, this movie. But yeah, I didn't think it was too bad. But as before, probably not necessarily perfect, I suppose. But yeah, I definitely thought it was wasn't too bad. Next one is actually an animated movie, which I got. Well, I'll say cheap. I mean, it's a Studio Ghibli film. They're all, you know, really expensive. I think they're about, I don't know, at least you know, $30 or $40 in some cases here in Australia. Anyway, they're very expensive, and I managed to get this one for like, I think it's like $19, I think. One I've never sort of seen before. It's called My Neighbors the Yamadas. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. I've never sort of seen this one before, but it's a Studio Ghibli film, and I'm always been a bit of a fan of them. So I wanted to sort of pick it up and give it a bit of a watch. It's got some very sort of, I'm not sure I can see that or not, but it's got a sort of, I don't know, sort of basic sort of animation to it, which is a bit different, I think, of what they normally have. But I'm still looking forward to giving it a bit of a watch though. Yeah, so that's that. I don't know all that much about that one. And finally, I got a bit of a sort of a film noir classic movie, which I think I sort of downloaded sort of a few months ago and really did enjoy. So I really wanted to sort of pick it up. I got it on Blu-ray. I think it's actually a fairly new release, I think too. Got The Postman Always Rings Twice, which has got Lana Turner and John Garfield in it. Just a really good movie, I thought. I just really liked sort of the very sort of simple premise to it, but it's basically just about there's sort of these two. Lana Turner, she's sort of married and sort of works in a diner with her husband, and John Garfield, he's like a bit of a, I don't know, a drifter, I suppose you'd say, and he sort of comes in and you know, trying to find work. So he sort of works there, and the two sort of, you know, fall in love, and I don't want to spoil anything, I suppose, but they sort of decide to sort of bump off the husband, and so they can sort of, you know, so they can sort of be together type thing. There's a few sort of twists and turns and stuff like that. But I just thought it was a really good movie. I really just loved the actors in it. Very sort of, I mean, it's very sort of, I don't know, simple sort of premise to it, I suppose, and if it was sort of made today, people would just think it was very generic and not all that great. But I mean, I think it's more the actors. I think there's just some really good actors in it, and they just really make the movie, you know, worth watching. I think there was actually a remake, wasn't there, 1981, I think, with Jack Nicholson and Jessica Lange, I think it was, which I've never sort of seen before. But this is definitely a great movie, especially if you're sort of a fan of old movies or just, you know, film noir or whatever. Yeah, but that's definitely a good one. I think that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, that's my sort of fairly small update, I think. I didn't get a sort of huge amount. I should be back soon. I think I might try and do perhaps a few movie reviews, perhaps, hopefully over the next few weeks if I get time. Thanks for watching. I might ask people perhaps to give me a thumbs up if you like my video. I don't normally ask people for thumbs up or anything like that, but I just want to get perhaps a bit of feedback, perhaps if you know, on people actually sort of do like my videos or not. And I think that's it. Yeah, so just thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time with a brand new video. Bye.